Hi, I'm Victor Margiotta, and this is The Community Show. My guest tonight is Dan Dennehey, and again, I know I keep saying this, but this is what The Community Show is all about. People volunteering their time, people doing things for the community, and Dan's going to talk about all the stuff that the Hibernians do, and a big thing is the Irish Festival we're going to talk about this year. And I have time to do some cooking again today, so I got the grill. We're going to do a little cooking. We got sausage and peppers. We got steak. We're going to do a little bread with pesto. But I want to introduce my guest, Dan. Thanks so much for coming on.
It's great to be here, Victor.
All right.
It's great to be here.
You know, I always ask my guests to give a little history about themselves. You know, it's a sense of community, a sense of belonging. I think that's the most important thing about community, that people feel like they belong. And why don't you tell us where you grew up?
Well, I was born in the Bronx,
Uh-huh.
and my family moved to Yonkers in 1976, but I went to the same high school as my father in the Bronx, Mount St. Michael, and had a sister, Mary. Mary still lives in Yonkers with my mother. My mother's an Irish immigrant, and my father had passed away, but he was a great member of the community down there. And I met my wife in and we got married in '93 in Ireland, and
Wow.
It was great. You know, we brought all our Italian-American friends to Ireland for our wedding, and you know, it was a great experience. But we moved up here in '95
Okay.
To Cortland Manor,
Yep.
and we were just immediately embraced by the community, and we became involved with the parade, the Peekskill Parade, and just of course, an organization that I'm very active in is the Ancient Order of Hibernians.
Okay.
And I'm a national officer there. But the Ancient Order of Hibernians has been in this community since 1867.
Awesome.
There was a division in Verplanck and a division in Peekskill. So, I mean, that's about as embedded as you can be.
Yes.
And we, 7 years ago, created an Irish festival at the
Yes.
riverfront, the Hudson Valley Irish Fest. And this Saturday, September 26th, we're going to have the 7th, and it's going to be a great community event for children,
Yes.
for seniors, for young people. We're going to have a spoken word tent this year. We're going to have a fun run called the Emerald Mile right on the riverfront there.
Wow, awesome.
And we're going to have great entertainment, a trad tent. And let me tell you, if you have a young family or an old family, it doesn't matter. Bring them, spend the whole day.
Yeah.
We have great stuff for the kids. I promise you, nobody will be looking at their little apps or anything like that. They're
Everybody's
going to be
gonna be busy.
interacting, and it's just a wonderful way to spend time with the community.
That's excellent. I want to get started right away with the cooking. There's a couple of things that take, you know, cooking is all about timing. And onions usually take a little longer than everything else. Peppers actually take longer than the onions, so let me get those on first. So you're married. How many kids?
We got 2 girls.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're young teens, and they both went to St. Columbanus,
Okay.
and now they're going to be going to JFK. And
Oh, nice.
yeah, Ashley and
Where is
Nicole.
JFK?
That's over in Somers. So,
Okay.
yeah, they're able to take a bus, which is a great relief for us.
Yep.
We have, you know, great stock in St. Columbanus. They did a great job for the kids, and
Yes.
very happy there. And my wife works in the city. She runs an organization called the Emerald Isle Immigration Center, and she gives advocacy and helps immigrants. So she was an immigrant herself, but now she helps tens of thousands of Irish and every country
Yeah.
with advice and helping people get their citizenship and stuff like that. So it's great, but it's a heck of a commute. So.
Well, you love going over to Ireland. You're actually going again soon.
Yeah, I'm joining the family, and I'm looking forward to it. We have a lot of roots there, but we also, you know, it's wonderful to actually be there and visit people, and it's our second home. Yeah. So.
Now, what kind of advice do you have for travel tips to get to Ireland?
Well, I tell you, it's probably the most friendliest place that anyone could ever visit, and it's called Ireland of the Welcomes. And no matter where you go, it's got its own unique beauty and hospitality. And believe it or not, our food isn't so bad anymore. It used to be when you go to Ireland, you'd ask for a ham and cheese sandwich, you get one slice of ham on one piece with butter, and then another slice of butter over here. And You know, you say, why don't you just put it together? They say, we don't.
Yeah, no.
But now they've got good cuisine there. You know, they've really got some world-class chefs, and it's a nice change. Let me tell you. Yeah.
My neighbor, I want to say hi. You probably know her. She works at Pastels.
Oh, of course.
Anne-Marie.
Of course, Anne-Marie. Yeah, yeah.
We got to say hi to Anne-Marie. And she told that story about how everybody would have just a slice of bread and one slice of ham.
And one piece of butter.
And one piece of butter. But it was a way of giving somebody something to eat, too.
Absolutely.
If somebody came over to the house,
Yeah.
you know, and the doors were always open.
Yeah.
And that's part of the hospitality.
Indeed.
You know?
I mean, we just had a football tournament to raise awareness for a commemoration. It was the 100th anniversary of a great Irish patriot. And we were down at Gaelic Park, which is well known for its Irish sports. But what we did was we went to a local community butcher, and he made about 200 little of those sandwiches, you know. And I tell you, these kids, one group of kids came all the way from Detroit. 10 hours on a bus.
Nice.
And boy, oh boy, did those sandwiches go down well. So, you know, I mean, I'm not going to take away from the fine dining that we can do in Verplanck.
Yeah,
We're a
at
family's
the
restaurant.
Paradise in Verplanck.
That's right.
You got to throw that in there.
Yeah.
We'll say hi to Lucy and Jerry. They've actually been enjoying the show. My father loved the show with Lisa Quist. She volunteers. She does the CCD program, and she was excellent. And a very good role model for young girls and young men. But speaking of role models, who are some of your role models growing up?
Well, you know, my father was a young man, and he got to meet Babe Ruth. So,
Wow.
you know, growing up in the Bronx and having a Babe Ruth ball in your house that was given to your father, I mean, I'd say that was probably one of the most iconic people that you could think of in you know, the 20th century.
Sure.
So that was one, and you know, I think I admired John Wayne, you know, because there's that great pub down the street here, the Quiet Man, and that's named after that movie. And another friend who I got to know from that movie is Maureen O'Hara, and she became a very good friend of my wife and mine because we were involved with an organization together.
Okay.
And a little bit of trivia about her. She was the first person to insist that she be called an Irish citizen, because Ireland wasn't always a republic. They had British rule there for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And there was no way that Maureen O'Hara was going to have British subject on her passport. So she actually paved the way for an Irish identity, which was pretty interesting. And she's a lovely lady.
Now, you can't do anything without money. You can't. It's just impossible, especially in this day and age. Everything has a price tag. What do you guys do to help raise funds for what you do?
Well, you know, we're very fortunate that we have the Hudson Valley Irish Center. Which, you see, everything's a cycle. We raise money throughout the year for the festival, and then we raise money in the festival so that we can have events all year round at the center.
Yes.
And what we do is we have films, and we have authors come up, and we have producers of movies, and we have historians. So throughout the year we have a program of music and entertainment and education, and we're very fortunate to have 3 national historians in our organization, Liam Murphy, Bob Bateman, and Richard McCann. Now these are guys that are historians in their own right, and we also have a great relationship with a fellow that lives in Ossining, Ray O'Hanlon, who's the editor of the Irish Echo newspaper. And he's one of our biggest patrons, and he donates books to us. Because, you know, as a newspaper, you have the people that come in, they want to promote their books. Well, once they've done the bit about it, you know, they come up to us, and people have the opportunity. That's the greatest thing, that we have that library open, that people, students can learn or do their research there, you know. So everything we do is sustainable. You know, if we have an event, it's something that the whole family can go to. That's what we base everything on. And the Hudson Valley Irish Fest, it's $10 for adults. Seniors are free and kids are free. I mean, you know, we have to charge something, because otherwise it would be me and you up there with a banjo and a kazoo, you know what I mean? But a lot of musicians volunteer. We have top recording
that's-
artists who, if I told you how little we pay them.
Yeah, no, I know.
mean, these people are dedicated, you know.
Yes. And again, I'm going to say, this is what the show is about, volunteering, getting involved. I mean, people gave their lives for this country in the wars.
Yeah.
They volunteered and they gave their lives. You know, we need a little more of that, that dedication, that patriotism,
Yeah.
you know, and I think joining the Irish. Now, how can somebody join?
Well, the festival is open to everybody, and if you want to support the Hudson Valley Irish Center,
Yes.
there's going to be contact information at the end of the show.
Okay, we have a website, right?
Yeah, indeed, HudsonValleyIrishFest.com. But more specifically, if you're Irish and Catholic, you can join the Ladies AOH or the
There you
Ancient
go.
Order of Hibernians.
Okay.
And they meet at the Hudson Valley Irish Center over at the Red Schoolhouse in
Okay.
Verplanck.
What nights?
The men meet on the first Monday, and the ladies meet on the first Wednesday, and the ladies meet on the second Wednesday. So it's pretty simple.
Okay.
About 8 o'clock.
Yep.
And it's a great bunch of people. I mean, we have people like Eddie Stinson, World War II
Yes.
veteran, and you know, so many guys like that are from the community, and ladies that were born and raised in Peekskill, Cortland, Verplanck, and Putt Val. You know, it's a real community effort. And we also have Irish immigrants and people that have come over and fallen in love with living in the United States. So it's if you have Irish and Catholic heritage, it's something that you should explore. But you don't have to be Irish or Catholic to be involved in the Hudson Valley Irish Center. And the proof is in the so many volunteer people that come and enjoy our events that have the only connection to Irishness is living in this community, and I think that's wonderful. You know? Yeah. So.
You know, the Irish did a very big part in building this country, and I know the railway was built by the Irish.
Well, you know, in the 1800s, there was a disaster. The Irish people were starving,
Yes.
and the place that they came to was America. Now, they've been coming before. I focused last year on a guy named Thomas Addis Emmett, who in 1803 came here, and by 1812 became the Attorney General of the state of New York. So when the British attacked here, he was defender of New York City. He wound up becoming one of the most respected attorneys in New York's history and the United States history. So there's success stories that go back to the foundation. George Washington thanked the Irish by giving them a national holiday on St. Patrick's Day.
There you go.
Way back then, before we had a country, we had a national holiday. So, you know, that's why we still have such pride in that one particular day where everybody becomes Irish for a day.
Yes.
But what we're doing here is every day we're celebrating not only our own community. For example, a few years ago, the storm, Hurricane Sandy,
Yes.
people came to the Hudson Valley Irish Center, got on buses, donated their time, their materials to help the people in Shoreline. They didn't know them, but you know what? Those people are coming back up this year to the fest. They're taking a boat to our festival, and they're going to help us celebrate. So,
Isn't that
you know, Jim
awesome?
Killoran from Habitat for Humanity.
Yes.
He's here right now in Peekskill helping out the fire victims from that tragic fire a couple of weeks ago. And we're doing anything we can to spread the good news of what Jim and Habitat are doing right here in Peekskill. Now, that has nothing to do with being Irish. That has something to do with being active in your community. And I think that, again, that's a wonderful thing.
Once again, that's what I urge everybody. Try to get involved. You know, don't complain about things. Do something about it. Get get up. Number one, you could join the Irish Club. You know, the right down the street, you got the Italian Club. You can go down
Carmel
over there.
Society.
Yep.
Isn't it wonderful that the two large immigrant groups are right in the same village and have two wonderful places that people can congregate, and a great parish, St. Patrick's over there. Thank God it's, you know, there'll still be masses. Michelle Carter got married there a little while ago, and that was very exciting.
Yeah. Oh, congratulations, Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle Carter Werner. Yeah, and she's been a volunteer and a committee member of the festival since its inception.
Yes.
And we get help from the town of Cortland and from the city of Peekskill. And you know, it's wonderful when we have all the legislators up there on the morning of the festival. Well, this year, about 100, 200 people hopefully going to run right into them from this fun run. And, you know, that day starts with volunteers and it ends with volunteers, but in the middle we have the entire community there just enjoying themselves. So
Yeah,
that's going to be fun.
Yeah, you can't say enough about volunteering. You know, I'm blessed to have the opportunity to, you know, be a CCD teacher. But the biggest thing is I get to meet the parents. I get to meet, you know, the kids. Then you have a sense of community, a sense of camaraderie, you know. It's so nice to know everybody in the community, you know. You feel like you belong. And that's, to me, one of the greatest accomplishments, you know.
Oh, indeed, indeed. I mean, you know, John F. Kennedy said, we all live in each other's shadow. But, you know, if you can bring your neighbor out of the shadows and find out who that person is, you have no idea how helpful you can be to each other. And it's not pulling somebody up.
No.
Sometimes it's just holding somebody's shoulder and saying everything will be okay.
Right.
You know, it's amazing how many people are touched upon by just opening your eyes and not looking down at your phone and, you know, stopping at the end of the lane and talking to your neighbor, you know. When I first came here, I was introduced to everybody by great members of the community, and some of them have passed on, but, you know, I could still talk about, you know, guys like Tom Ryan and Tom Kelly and Skeet Kelly, and, you know, so many great characters, you know.
Oh, for sure.
And, of course, Joe Price, an active, wonderful member of the community, and if you just took his life and seen how many accomplishments and how many achievements he made for the community, he's been a member of the Hibernians. Get this, he was the county president the year I was born, and I'm 51 years old, so that shows. 51-year member, and he's proud that we meet in the Red Schoolhouse, and he's proud that the Hudson Valley Irish Center's there. And I tell you what, that's we're doing it for them as much for anybody else.
Of course.
You know? Yeah. After 9/11. We had an Irish festival up in Graymore because they had a beautiful a cross that you know was created out of the rubble, and we had this festival up there for several years, and it was great to see the Irish nuns and priests and everybody from around the world that touches upon this Irish empire that's been created by its people. And it was wonderful to be up there and have the music echoing through the woods up there. And now we get to bring people from Ireland to see the Hudson Valley. They can't believe it.
Oh,
they've lived in New York forever, and they've never been here.
Oh, I know.
It's amazing when they get to see it.
I love it. You know, I've been all over. California's nice too, but you can't beat this area. No. It's the most beautiful thing. You know, now when you get older, the winters get a little rough, but you know, you just got to handle it. Now we got the steak going. When I grill the eggplant, I like to cut it a little thicker. If I was going to bread it and fry it like I do for the eggplant parmesan, I would slice it a little thinner. But because we're grilling it, you know, this way it'll hold together a little better. And like I said, see how long the peppers are taking? That's why you want to get those on the grill first. There you go. The sausage is just right. You get that flipped over. Now, what is your title as?
Well, we're a not-for-profit, tax-exempt organization. That was one of the first things that we set out to do because, you know, I mean, people's money and organizations' money are so precious. Whatever little you can donate, if you could turn that into a tax exemption, well, you know, that's a great thing. And also, it gives you credibility because people don't want to give to something and say, where's it going? Now, we get a great grant every year from the Irish Abroad unit of the Foreign Affairs Department of Ireland. That's the Irish government saying, we have confidence in these people that they're promoting Irish America and Irish culture in a good way, in a positive light. And that's our biggest stamp of approval. That and the acceptance that we have from the city and from the county and the town, you know, of what we're doing. And, you know, I tell you, it's, those kind of things are important because, you know, when you give a donation, you say, what am I giving this money to, you know? And what am I supporting here?
Yeah, and you love to hear that every dollar goes to, you know, instead of all the red tape that. But like I said, you can't get around it though. Everything is so expensive now. It's ridiculous, you know. And it's the price of gas and it's the price of oil and you know it just raises the price of everything. So
it's tough for a working family. And,
it is.
Or even for a senior just trying to do stuff. So that's why we try and keep all our events cost effective. I mean, I don't think we've ever charged more than $25 for, and that was dinner and a movie, you know, so you're getting, hey, like this, you know? Who would have thought that we're going to be talking about Irish festivals and great Italian food at the same time, you know? But yeah.
Can you tell us about the immigration process? What does it take for someone to come into this country with like what your wife does?
I'm glad you mentioned it.
Okay.
50 years ago, an act of law was signed by Lyndon Baines Johnson, and he signed it on Liberty Island. And what's ironic about it was that the Statue of Liberty had her back to him. Because what happened was, it opened up, this Family Reunification Act, it opened up immigration to a lot of places that didn't have opportunities before, but it effectively shut the door for Italian and Irish Americans. I mean, Vic, when's the last time you said to your brother, you know that nice Swiss family that moved down the road?
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen anymore. So a lot of Europeans have been marginalized by this, and it's particularly hard for Irish people because they have such connectivity, and Italians and Poles. They have wonderful connectivity to America through their heritage, and they want to stay here. But you see, what we do is we tell people, do not become undocumented, do not overstay. But those that do, at least we're giving them good advice. They're not getting rolled over by some unscrupulous person. And should a person actually be able to negotiate the immigration laws and become a green card holder, my wife's organization that we helped found over 20 years ago gives them honest, decent help and true advice. And there's nothing better in the world than real advice, not speculative or, you know, well, give me 500 and I'll tell you. They've helped tens and tens and tens of thousands of people make a great life in America. So that, and my job in immigration with the AOH is to make sure that Irish Americans realize that we have to keep opening doors for immigrants and creating opportunities, because we have a cultural exchange that goes back over 200 years, and we need to maintain that. And some of the stuff that we're doing for the Irish is working very well for the Italians and other groups too. So we don't stop at helping Irish people, as a matter of fact. That'll never be the case.
Okay. Now, what connections do you have with the parade? Are they...
This parade, there's a lot of parades.
Okay.
I'm very proud that my wife was an aide to the Grand Marshal with a wonderful man named Jerry Margiotta a couple of years ago. And your father and our family and all your brothers and family have had a great relationship and friendship because of that one wonderful thing. And I was an aide a few years ago as well. And my daughters have marched in the parade since they started in St. Columbanus. My daughter was St. Bridget because she told the pastor, hey, you know, there's two patron saints, not just St. Patrick, St. Bridget too.
That's right.
And St. Bridget is the patron saint of the ladies AOH, so that's wonderful that she gets recognized by St. Columbanus on their float. And I was on the parade committee for many, many years. And a lot of the parade committee people, like Chuck McGrail, is my co-chair. Well, Chuck's a great community guy. Yes, he
really
is.
Yeah. He does a lot of stuff for the community.
And this year was a particular thrill because I was an aide to the New York St. Patrick's Day Parade with Cardinal Dolan.
That's right.
So me and 14 of my best friends from the AOH and all the different leaders of the community were with Cardinal Dolan, and we had a wonderful mass, and we marched up together. And let me tell you, that man, if he didn't stop and say hello to every single person on the parade route.
He's the best.
Yeah.
He's got a sense of humor. You know, he's got personality. I mean, he
Very
likes the
warm.
Mets, but that's all right.
Yeah, that's a little weird. But he's not from here, you know, so
No,
he's got to get...
well, he's probably rooting for the underdog, so,
indeed.
you know, that's all right.
They need all the praise they can get. You know where he is right now?
No.
He's actually in Ireland.
Okay.
It was the first international pilgrimage to Knock Airport, and the Cardinal was there with my wife's chairman, Brian O'Dwyer, the chairman of the Emerald Isle Immigration Center. So it was a historic flight, and so many of our friends, I'm jealous, are on that pilgrimage to the place where an apparition of Mary and Joseph and a couple of other saints. It must have been a great vision, because there was a whole gang of them there. But there's a beautiful shrine in County Mayo devoted to the Virgin Mother. So it's wonderful. So it's exciting to think that the leader of our church is in Ireland right now and inspiring people there.
That is huge.
Yeah.
All right, so mention the fest again, because we're really pushing the fest We want everybody to go. We're taping just in time, so the show will be on a couple times to remind people to go. The date is September?
Saturday, September 26th, rain or shine, from 11 in the morning to 7 p.m. And we got a great lineup of Irish acts. We have some of the best traditional musicians, but two of the bands that we're focusing this year is going to be the Lost Tribe of Donegal, which if you're a Black 47 fan, is Chris Byrne.
Yep, those guys were great.
And then there's a great band of young fellas called the Narrowbacks.
Okay.
They got Westchester roots, they got Rockland roots, and let me tell you, if you like the Pogues, I think the Pogues and the Clash put together, that's them, okay?
Right.
And then we're going to have a wonderful show, which is going to be you've heard of it, the Rosa Tralee. We're going to have a big spectacle of former and current Rosa Tralees. So they're going to do lovely entertainment on the stage, pipe bands, step dancers, traditional stories, great Irish food, great Italian food,
Excellent.
a couple of Guinnesses, and we have a lovely beer garden there. And the family events, the children's area where we have 18th century toys and games. It's $10 for adults, kids are free, seniors are free. It's at the riverfront. Excellent. I can't think of a better place, September 26th.
And the website, what's the website?
That's HudsonValleyIrishFest.com.
Okay.
And if anybody wants to get in touch with me, they can call 914-588-2710, Dan Dennehey.
Okay, Dan, we got everything grilled here. I'm going to lay out the sausage and peppers. I toasted up some bread on the grill. All right. Now, how do you get in the Irish or the Emerald Run? Do you have to sign up for it?
If you go on our website, you can log in for that. Now, that's a great deal. $25, you get a run, you get a T-shirt, and you get entrance to the fest.
Right.
And I think that there's nothing better than that, to be healthy,
to
eat healthy,
huge. Yes.
to get some exercise, and maybe develop a thirst.
Yeah.
Well,
when I first started doing the show, I wanted to focus on eat right, exercise. You're only going to extend your life. We all want to live on cupcakes and cookies, but, you can't do that. You got to get your vegetables. You got to get your fruits. You're only supposed to eat a little bit of steak, and, you got to have steak. I mean, you need the protein, but, you got to mix it up, and it's so important. If you want to live to be 80,
that's it.
you got to eat right, you got to exercise. So I think this came out pretty good.
Sure did. I mean, it's better than the Irish 7-course meal, which is a 6-pack and a potato, they say.
Right,
but,
I know. That's a good one.
With me, it was a steak and 6 potatoes, okay? So.
Hey, I love corned beef and cabbage. I could probably, now that I'm thinking of it, we should probably have it on special. In the summer, people don't think to have it, and it's a great special to have.
Cathal McGrail made a wonderful Reuben from The Quiet Man that was at the Peekskill Exposition there, the Hudson Valley Exposition. And I tell you what, people were just disappearing. They just couldn't believe it. Joe Brady, the piper, he came up to me and said, "Where'd you get this?" I said, "Right over there." He said, "Oh my God." Because corned beef is not look, you can put that in the crock pot and you can have it for dinner, and it's a wonderful thing. But it is an American dish, not an Irish. What a great pleasure it's been to be here, and
thanks.
I'm really looking forward to the wrap here.
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up. We're going to have a little something to eat. I do want to mention Steve Hegedus passed, and he was a good friend of mine, helped out the show. I also want to thank the crew. Thanks, Cecilia. Thanks, Helen. Thanks, Kaz. And go to the Irish Fest.
See you there.